What's the most you've ever lost on a coin toss? A line so iconic that every guy on YouTube with an opinion about films clutches to it like a lifeline while explaining their superior film knowledge. I mean, to their credit, Anton Chigurh, the main antagonist of Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men, is truly one of the most intriguing villains I've ever seen on screen. His menacing demeanor and cold, calculated movements dominate every frame he's in. But to truly understand what makes him such a compelling villain, relying solely on the movie will only get you to half the truth. Hi, my name is Jim, and today I will be breaking down the novel version of Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men and discovering who Anton Chigurh truly is. Now, the movie is undoubtedly an unmatched example of what a good film adaptation could truly be. When the writers and directors stick to the core ideas within the book and carry that to the end, it just makes an amazing movie. I watched it and I was purely blown away. So throughout this video, do not take it as me hating on the movie. I love that movie. Check my Letterboxd. It's up there in my top favorite 4. It's so good. My one qualm with it is that it cuts some lines that I feel are so crucial to the original story presented within the book. And I understand they're cut for time. The book is very long. The movie can't really go much over 2 hours without it getting a bit too long. So I just think that's the biggest sin this movie commits. Everything else, from the cinematography to the camera movements to just everything, is so amazing. And I love it. So again, this is not at all a way of hating on the movie. Quite the contrary, this is a love letter to the movie and a love letter to the book and the story as a whole. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now let's start with the iconic coin toss scene, the one I talked about at the very start of the video. Chigurh enters an unassuming Texaco and proceeds to scare the living daylights out of the clerk working behind the desk. While in the movie, the scene serves to establish Chigurh's system of morals he operates within, the book digs a bit deeper into how deeply he believes in this framework. While he urges the clerk, who is hesitant at first and doesn't know what this coin toss is, and he doesn't understand what he's betting on, Chigurh says, "How would that change anything?" This line is unquestionably one of the most crucial lines in not just understanding Chigurh's character, but the book as a whole. His entire philosophy hinges on the idea of the inevitable. He is an unstoppable force of death, which the inevitable acts through. After the clerk at the Texaco is spared completely by chance in this coin toss, Chigurh warns him not to mix his new lucky coin with the rest, stating, "Anything can be an instrument," Chigurh said. "Small things you wouldn't even notice. They pass from hand to hand, people don't pay attention. And then, one day, there's an accounting. And after that, nothing is the same. Will you say it's just a coin, for instance? Nothing special there. What could that be an instrument of? You see the problem? To separate the act from the thing, as if the parts of some moment in history might be interchangeable with the parts of some other moment. How can that be? Well, it's just a coin. Yes, that's true. Is it?" This idea that everything happens as it should, an object will become an instrument of fate in a way that could not happen if the object weren't there at that exact place and time. With that ideology, Chigurh is absolved of his guilt through this philosophy, as he is one of those objects. He is this object of fate that the inevitable acts through. You wouldn't have an accident happen if the car weren't there at that place. You wouldn't have someone trip if there wasn't a banana peel on the ground. These objects cause things to happen. They need to be there. And so he justifies everything he does with the fact that he is that object that needed to be there for fate to happen. It's not his fault. It's how things happen. And that is such a menacing way to look at the world. He can't control himself because this is what he knows needs to happen. And it's insane. This is a man who truly has no boundaries that he is not willing to cross. He will do whatever it takes to ensure fate runs its course. And that is chilling. When McCarthy wrote this character, he wrote an angel of death. The readers understand there is no escape for Chigurh's victims. Once they meet him, their lives are over. It's done. Game over. Kaput. Another way in which the book expands upon his system that he exists within is developing the idea that he must follow through with fate. It removes his free will. And the book really hones in on that, especially around when he confronts Carla Jean. After Llewellyn has died, he goes to her house and he sits her down in the bedroom and says, "You have to die." But he's willing to give her a chance with a coin toss. He doesn't want to have to kill this innocent woman. But he knows that's how fate must play out. And he tells her an extremely important line. He says, "It's the best I can do." This is his way of showing mercy. He can't just decide not to kill her, because that would be taking fate into his own hands, which through his system is just not allowed. So this is the best offering of grace he can give to Carla Jean in the moment. And it's heartbreaking when you read all the things that this man has done and realize in his eyes he has no choice. This is how the world works. And who is he to decide? Who is he to become God? Now, that line is also seen within the movie. So what am I getting at? Why am I making this redundant point when I'm saying the movie doesn't show this as well as the book does? Well, just after he says that to Carla Jean in the book, there's an incredibly important section of dialogue where he states, pretty much to a point, exactly how he operates within the world. And maybe I'm just dumb, but I don't really get why they cut that out of the movie. Anyway, I digress. I'll read the section now. He shook his head. "You're asking that I make myself vulnerable, and that I can never do. I have only one way to live. It doesn't allow for special cases. A coin toss, perhaps. In this case, to small purpose. Most people don't believe that there can be such a person. You can see what a problem that must be for them. How to prevail over that which you refuse to acknowledge the existence of. Do you understand? When I came into your life, it was over. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the end. You can say that things could have turned out differently, that they could have been some other way. But what does that mean? They're not some other way. They are this way. You're asking that I second say the world. Do you see? There is no escape. Death will come for all, and he is death. He can't jeopardize his life or his mission for any reason, as it would disobey the world's order. You can't fight gravity, so why would you try and fight him? They're the same in his mind. They're both forces of nature." Immediately after Chigurh states this, in a cruel act of irony, the book cuts to him being hit purely by chance by a car. A drunk driver just so happened to be at the intersection he was at, plowed right through and hit him, leaving him mortally injured, and we never see him again. The idea that this untraceable killer continues to roam freely, answering to nothing aside from his own cruel morals, is chilling. The viewer doesn't know the extent of harm Chigurh will do to accomplish his goals, and never will. McCarthy leaves the reader to fear for this world that he has crafted, leaving a demon to roam. This is what makes Chigurh so terrifying and so tragic. He's bound by this code and will do anything to achieve this idea of moral supremacy, even if he himself wishes he didn't have to. He is a man where no line is uncrossable. As soon as you enter his life, yours is over. While the movie version of this book is just amazing, the subtleties within the text that McCarthy writes are just so important to developing Chigurh's character and understanding the core functions of his being, and I could not recommend it more. Please, if you enjoy the movie, I so highly encourage reading the book. It's my favorite book ever. I don't read as much as I should, but this book got me back into reading. It made me fall in love with storytelling again. It's truly just remarkable. I could not recommend it more. Even if you haven't seen the movie, please read this book. If you read any book ever, this should be the one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my analysis of this character. I really enjoyed writing it. I really enjoy breaking down different media and figuring out what it means and what it means to me. I'm still kind of new to recording on camera and doing these talks kind of live, so if I made any mistakes, please look over them. I have a bit of a stutter too, so that could cause some issues. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I really enjoy doing this, and I'm excited to do some more. If you have any books or movies you'd like me to check out, drop them in the comments. I may drop a little something on an album that came out recently. Who knows? Well, hint here. Yeah, feel free to see the stutter. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed. And yeah, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.